Yo! I'm Adam.
And I'm Patrick.
And we are Guy in a Cube. We are here with Steve Jones.
Steve Jones.
The Steve Jones.
SQLServerCentral.com.
Yes.
Oh, Redgate.
Yes.
Which one?
Both.
Both.
Okay.
All right.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing very well. And
Where are
you?
we right now?
We are in Baton Rouge,
Hot as hell.
Louisiana.
It's not that hot. It isn't that hot today, though. I gotta
No,
say.
today's not bad
This
because
is
it rained.
Probably the hottest place in the country.
We had a lot of rain.
Houston is hotter.
Well,
No, Houston's about the same. I'm gonna say it's
I
about
think
the
it's
same.
way more humid here.
I would agree. I lived here for a long time.
It's the
Obviously.
armpit,
depends.
right?
I live both in Houston and here. It's hot here.
It's hot here.
You're right.
Yeah. So I see you traveling a lot. You're with, on the Redgate side. What do you do with Redgate?
So Redgate bought SQL Server Central, a decade ago or so, and so
been that long.
Yeah. And so I travel around, Redgate, we really support the community. We are happy to try to educate people as well as try to sell software. And so I travel around with Redgate to give presentations at various events. And then I do some sales engineering stuff. I do meet with customers and help them work out problems or proof of concept, that kind of stuff.
Nice. And does Redgate do anything with like BI, so like AS or?
We don't. We've
It's all
talked
focused on
about it.
SQL?
Yeah, we've talked about it, and we always hear people ask for it. I know you gentlemen would probably like to see.
That's like
So why do we have Steve on the show if he doesn't do
AS.
BI
It's
stuff?
a tough commercial business because they tend to be very expensive tools that are sold rarely to few people, as opposed to more mass market tools.
That's true.
That's just the nature of the BI business.
Power BI is kind of like
Power BI may be the exception. Maybe we can talk about what to do with Power BI.
We're going to open up Power BI for like XMLA, so you can do like tracing and things of that nature.
You can do some
So it's
performance
coming.
analysis and
Those-
usage analysis.
I hate to say it, most people don't bother to do the performance and usage analysis
Yeah.
stuff, so it's not a commercially viable
You're right.
thing.
That's
It's just
I
not,
agree.
Like Redgate, we have a fantastic set of .NET tools that do performance analysis. So we do .NET code analysis and memory analysis.
Yeah.
And some people really love those tools, but it's like a tiny percentage of people.
Like that many people.
Yeah. It's mostly financial people that care about extreme levels of performance.
Yeah.
The bean counters.
No, it's the traders. It's the trading guys because they got to run super fast and they want to scale like thousands and thousands of containers or instances or processes per box.
Yeah.
So they super care about memory, and most people go like, we'll just buy a little more RAM.
Yeah. Why not? So, what are you doing here?
What am I doing here?
Yeah.
What would you talk about at SQL? We were SQL Saturday Baton Rouge.
Right, SQL Saturday Baton Rouge,
What'd
which
you
is
talk about?
this is the 10th
10th
SQL
year.
Saturday.
10th year.
10 years.
10th year.
Yeah, and I've been to
years.
6 of them, so this is my 6th
Yeah.
one.
I was here for day one.
You were here for day one.
You
I
missed
remember.
day one.
I came.
Yeah.
He instigated something.
Yeah, absolutely. So today I did a tour of security. So I talked about mostly the stuff that came in 2016, which unfortunately hasn't been changed in 2017. Could you guys work on that?
Unfortunately?
Yeah, not much security
Because it was
changes.
perfect.
No.
Yeah, it's SQL Server. It's Microsoft. It's
No.
perfect.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
RLS needs work.
I'll get with my
always
people
scripted
on
needs
that.
work. Yeah.
I'll get with my people.
RLS needs work.
Yeah, it needs some work.
Okay.
All right.
So I talked about that. I also
For
did,
all you folks using direct query.
exactly. I did a DevOps session as well. So talking about getting a database into your DevOps process.
Nice.
So trying to show how it relates to software development and what things you can
Add it
do.
to the bill.
Add to the build.
Add it to the
Yeah,
bill.
yeah, deploy it, right?
Yeah,
Get
yeah.
it consistently moving. And then I did a branding session as well. So I had
Branding.
Ah.
We like branding.
We like branding.
What did you teach him on the branding side?
So
Like, what's your focus on that?
So for branding for me is to try to help people as an individual, right? So anybody that's a worker in some sense, how they can get an interview or get a promotion or get a raise, do a good review, how to better present yourself as an employee. Because like it or not, we're all selling our services to
All the time.
somebody.
Yep.
Right? So we're essentially a company of one, and then we work for Microsoft in your case, Redgate for my case, and I got to convince them to keep paying me, maybe pay me more, give me a different job, that kind of thing. So my focus is really on kind of the practical side of how you build a brand and present yourself as an employee.
If somebody was just getting started, right? Like if I was just getting started, what would it be like maybe 3 things you would tell them to start building their brand?
So for 3 things, number one, networking is the most important thing. All right, so everybody gets nervous about networking, right? But it's not. So you're Patrick, right?
Yeah.
Right, so
Patrick.
we've known each other a while.
Yeah.
And what do you do for Microsoft?
I do data.
So what does that mean when you do data?
I do data.
I don't think we can't talk about that.
Yeah, but what kinds of things on?
Yeah, so I help people architect out solutions, right? So somebody will say, "Hey, Patrick, I'm trying to do X, and how do we do it?"
Right.
And I'll go meet with them and show them how to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's networking.
Yeah.
Right. So it's that simple, right? A lot of people get nervous about, I got to talk to you. Just say hi. How you doing? What do you do? Right.
Yeah. We talked about that last night at the bar.
That's kind of the basic thing, right? And if you can just meet some people over time, get to know them, some of them you'll never talk to again. Some of them become good friends. Some of them might be people that hear about an opportunity, or they can help you find a job, or they'll say, "Hey, I met this guy that was interesting, or this girl that was interesting. They know something about Power BI. It's a job."
So networking.
So networking is number one. I think for number two, you got to put a profile together of who you are online, right? So it's kind of like your online resume, but most resumes, you're only going to get a very short period of time people look at, right? When I talk to hiring managers or recruiters, they're like, I spend 30 seconds on a resume, right? I spend a minute on a resume, which isn't much time, right? None of us, we've all written our own resume. We probably couldn't read it in a minute, but that's all they look at it. So having an online presence where you can say, here's the things that I've done and some details allows me to do a couple things. One is I can present myself in a good way.
Yeah.
The other thing is I can control what somebody looks at. So rather than them Google searching me, I give them a bunch of stuff.
Which they will.
Then they
will search you.
Yeah.
Maybe not with Google.
They probably use Bing.
They'll probably use Bing.
Nobody uses Bing. But they spend time then in the place where I want them, and they start to look at the things that I want them to see.
Yeah.
So that's valuable.
With that, would you say, I'm trying to relate this to the folks doing Power BI, maybe one thing you could do also is maybe build like if you're a business analyst or report writer and you want to do that, maybe build a portfolio of reports that you've done.
Absolutely, right? So that's the thing. Like that would be my third thing. So so two would be that kind of online profile. The third thing would be a blog of some sort that presents what you can do, what you've learned, what you're good at. So that's where I would say maybe you want just a blog that's Power BI reports.
Yeah. You could do publish to web for that. Stick them in the
you
blog.
publish them up there and you say, here's how I took this random data set, right? I took the traffic in Baton Rouge and I tried to figure out what's the worst intersection, right? Or something like that.
They're
Build a
bad
report,
intersections.
right? You publish to the web, it's on your WordPress blog or your Google blog or whatever, and then you say, hey, if you want to know what I'm good at, here's some things that I've done.
Yeah.
That's good advice.
The thing, whenever I tell people, hey, you need to do a blog, they go, oh, it's so much work. Oh, man, that's so much work. You got to put in the work.
I'll give you a secret. It's work.
It is some work, but I always tell people, right, that part of this is you're investing in yourself and your career, right? And don't make it a job. My thing is if you're starting out, like let's say we want to do Power BI reports, right? So I want to build dashboards, and I don't need to build the 10-tab report that covers everything.
Yeah.
Say, listen, let's build a 1-tab report. Right, and then I want you to just save it, right? Save it to Power BI on your thing. And then what you do is I want you to build 9 more.
Yep.
Right? So whatever random thing is. And then I want you to figure out how long it took you to do 10 of those.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's your pace, right? That gives you a good average to go, I think once a month I can build a report.
And I used to tell people too, like if you're doing a blog, like do one a month. Like it's nothing crazy, right? It's every 30 days or so. And at the end of the year, that's 12 pieces of content.
It is. And the thing I think you'll find is that as you start to do these, you'll get excited, right? You might build 3 or 4.
You build the habit, the muscle.
Just schedule those out there, right? That's why I say do 10, because that gives you your pace. Because if it takes you 10 months to do 10, you go, I can do 1 a month, right? Maybe I did 3 the first month and it took me 9 months to do 7.
Yeah.
But just work at your pace, because you don't want to burn out on this. You want to just constantly move forward, because this is a long-term goal, right? I'm not changing jobs every month. I don't need to solve this problem today.
I remember
care about the future.
when I first started, and I met you. I forget where I met you at, and I was talking about blogging. He was like, the one thing you have to do is be consistent.
Yeah.
And try to build a queue. Try to build a queue, because there's going to be a month, there's going to be a week that you can't write, that you just don't have time. But if you have them in the queue, then you could just have it scheduled, and it's going to go out whether you're home or you're not at home.
Right.
I
Yeah, because
use
we all
that
have
advice.
life, right?
Yeah.
We all have life that gets in the way of
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
Life
I use
will
that
get in the
advice.
way.
I remember one year I wrote like 100 blogs, right? And it was crazy, but I queued them up. So yeah, it's good
And they're
stuff,
still
man.
going now, right?
It's still going. I don't write anymore. No more writing.
Yeah. No, and that's how Guy in a Cube got started too. I was doing 1 blog a month. And then I was like, I can do this. Let me do this once a week. I'm going to do it on Tuesday at 10 a.m. And then I just kept doing that, and then I added the video, and then boom, now we do it.
But it takes you a while to learn.
It does.
What you can do.
Oh
right?
man, and I hate the stuff I did originally. It was awful.
Yeah, but that's the way it is, right? That's in life. We've all written code. We've all written stuff that we weren't proud of, but we get better over time. Yeah. And that's part of what you show in the brand is that I'm learning, I'm getting better, I'm advancing in my career.
Well, the more you do it too, that's how you improve that, right? So you're always improving.
Yeah. I mean, when I look back at the things I've written, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, I've improved so much because communication is a skill. Right? Just like speaking is a skill, just like video, just like anything. Takes some time to get better.
Yeah, it does, absolutely.
It's not going to be perfect, right? So if you try to write something that's perfect, you'll take forever.
I would even say don't aim for perfection. Get it out there.
Yeah.
Get it out there.
So the thing I would say is get feedback, right? Yeah. Because I want to make sure you know how to use a comma and a period.
Right.
So I wrote an article. I remember the first article I wrote for SQL Server Central. I sent it to Steve, and he was like, look, you're not writing a dissertation. You're not writing a dissertation. So I wrote another one, and I sent it to him, and he ripped it apart, but it was really good advice. It helped me a lot because I didn't use any commas in it.
Yeah.
I went back and I used some commas.
And I would add too. I mean, like validate what you're doing. Make sure it's
absolutely
right.
Yeah.
But don't try and make it like pretty and all that. Like just get it out there.
Well, start pretty.
No, but you'll find your voice. I mean, Patrick, you do this stuff. It's natural for you, but like just get your voice and build on
feedback.
it. Yeah, get feedback.
Especially
get feedback.
If you're putting something out there permanently. You want some feedback that it looks okay and that it is correct, right? Technically correct. And then go from there.
Cool. Yeah, that's great advice. What else? Anything else?
I mean, there's all sorts of stuff you could do. I mean, one of the other big ones I think that I always talk about is volunteering because, for me as a manager, I hate having to micromanage people or tell them what to do. I kind of expect to give you direction and you'll do a little bit more, right? If I ask you to touch code, you'll leave it a little better. If I say, check the backups, you'll also kind of go, well, maybe I should look at the logs or something else, check the disk space. So to me, one of those things that shows that to people is that they're willing to volunteer in some way, right? Whether that's at work, which is fine, or outside of work.
Yeah.
I've been a Scoutmaster, I've coached kids, I've done different things, and the skills that you use there and the effort you spend trying to help some other organization is translatable to work.
Yeah.
And it means that you do more than go home and sit on the Xbox or sit on the couch. And so it's one of those things to me that stands out a little bit. Whenever I interview somebody for a job and they do something like that, whether it's something I've done or something different, it stands out.
Yeah.
And that's the name of the game in branding. Yep. You got to stand out from everybody else.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, guys, what branding questions do you have? Go and leave that down below. What do you think of? What question do you have to improve you building your own personal brand? If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Smash it if you so desire. If you're the first time here, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And as always, from both Patrick and myself and Steve, thank you so much for watching. Keep being awesome, and we'll see you in the next video.
Do we do the O thing?
No. The O's only in the beginning.